The Terrible Warriors receives funding by listeners on Patreon at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. And those people, they voted for this game. Today, on the Terrible Warriors, we return to the world of the Seventh Sea. In our last episode, a brazen plot by bandits attacked our caravan, trying to steal innocent people, and destroyed a very fancy hat. Oh, but the plot thickens when the bandits are no bandits at all. No, they are members of the Inquisition. And while no one suspects the Castilian Inquisition, oh, methinks they do not suspect that there are heroes abound. Riding in on our victory, we arrive in the town of Montonen, and it is there that our story will begin. And our adventurers, the ones who will fight for true love, they are your Terrible Warriors.
Hey, terrible listeners, welcome back. This is Derek the Bard from Chasing the Muse and the Edmund Crew, and I am not running the game this evening, oh thank God. Instead, it is one of our other Edmonton regulars, my good personal friend Will Mitchel. And Will, would you like to tell us what you are running this evening?
Indeed, I am running 7th Sea 2nd Edition. Our daring heroes have just ran into some inquisitorial thugs in disguise, kidnapping people from a country road in Castille. And let's turn it to our players. Who we got playing what?
I'm Justin Ecock playing Francisco Florento, a young Castilian with delusions of heroism. And he got a fancy hat after losing his fancy hat.
Poisonne playing Dirk Weiss. Also delusions of grandeur, like real bad. This is just the delusions of grandeur room over here in Toronto.
Dodd?
Yes, it is I, Mike the Birdman Dodd, from This Week in Geek.net, playing Jose Wick. I am Dirk's literal delusion of grandeur. I make him look awesome.
Jose Wick is our first-person shooter character for this campaign.
Yeah, and I am, of course, Derek the Bard from Chasing the Muse, and I'm playing Lady Anna Henrietta de Pai, the Montaigne noblewoman, and secret spy and sorceress, etc.
Let them have pie.
Etc. Beautiful.
And it comprises a lot of etceteras.
So
a lot of etceteras.
We ended up on a road, and we discovered that the evil, villainous bandits who were trying to unjustly kidnap people from our caravan that we chased away with tails between their legs and one of the people that they kidnapped. But it was all because we had to save Poncho and the old man in the house. And then we turn over one of the bandits, and their coat opens up to reveal that they were wearing uniforms of the Castilian Inquisition of the Vatican Church. Oh, boy. Where does our adventure take us now?
Hero points refresh at the start of the new session, don't they?
Yes, they do. As well, any wounds that you may have suffered will go away, except dramatic wounds require medical attention. I don't think anybody took a lot of wounds.
I am going to apply medical attention to Jose's bullet wound. That's scholarship, isn't it?
Yes, that is scholarship.
Do I need to roll wits plus scholarship, or?
No, I'm just gonna let you sort of deal. I'm gonna let you do that. You're just gonna take some time doing it. So the battle's sort of come to an end. You've sort of checked out sort of everybody. Poor Jose did get shot and is a little bit wounded, but everybody else is more or less okay. And you can see that the switchbacks that the battle had taken you to, that edge of that cliff that you narrowly avoided, that overlooks the small, sleepy Castilian town of Montonen. It's on a small sort of bay just off the sea. You can see that there are a couple of ships sort of at anchor nearby, one of which is a huge, just massive galleon with big red sails, upon which sit prominently the Prophet's Cross in black, one of the many known symbols of the Inquisition.
We should probably avoid those guys. Just an idea.
Anna says something very unladylike in Montaigne, which nobody else here, I suspect, understands.
Probably not.
No,
unless they have linguists.
I do not believe we have any linguists.
No.
Unfortunately, all of Derek's known swear words are in Quebecois, so yeah.
Just use your imagination,
very,
folks.
Parisian courtesan style.
No, but at the same time, they're religiously based, which is great for talking about a fucking church.
Indeed.
Sorry.
You drop a couple of calices. So, as you guys are sort of collecting yourselves, somebody comes out of the back of the merchant wagon that had been saved and comes running towards your carriage, Anna Henrietta. You can see that this person's got like a sack in hand that had previously been over their head. They've got like a small, thin dagger that they must have like pulled out of a garter somewhere to free themselves of their ropes. And this lady is distraught. Castilian lady, considerably older. She's not like an old lady, but like she's not young either. She comes sort of running over and she's bawling her eyes out and screaming about someone named Pastora as she tries to get into your carriage.
Yeah, Anna gets down off of the driver's seat, smooths out her dress, and will speak to the woman in perfect Castilian. What is the matter? Please tell me.
Oh, thank you so much for helping us. Who are those men? Pastora! Where's Pastora? Where's Felipe? Where's Ramon?
Anna opens the door to the carriage.
And inside there is a young woman who has likewise been trying to get out of, get herself like organized. They didn't get a chance to tie this lady up, and so when the door opens up, you can see that like she's got like somebody's bag, like a valise that she's ready to clobber somebody with. But
yeah, that's my valise.
Exactly, and when she sees that it's your carriage, your stuff. When you see that when she sees it's you and this other woman, she goes, "Oh, Diana! Praise God, you survived. Where's Ramon?" And so, yeah, they're very concerned about this guy, and they look around and it's like, did they take him? They turn to you, Anna Henrietta, because you've thirdly shown you can speak the language. Have they taken him?
They did take him, didn't they?
They did take him. Well, they took somebody, presumably Ramon.
We rescued two of the three.
I do not know what his name was.
Who was the second person?
Oh,
were they?
It must have been my brother.
Why were they after you?
I don't know. Who were they?
Do we have any of them? Maybe we have one tied on our horse that we knocked
idiots.
out.
Yeah.
You do have some knocked out idiots.
In Inquisitor robes.
I will happily spend my time like hog tying some guys and putting them on horses and bringing them up and being like, oh yes, look what I have found. I have brought you these people as an Ison. I'm very good at this. Hello.
and like they buy it hook, line, and sinker. They switch to Old Than, which is sort of the common of the setting. Oh, thank you so much, mighty warriors. We didn't know we were traveling in such company, says the younger of the women. She's sort of taken over the talking almost immediately, and the older woman is
Francisco
clearly a servant
is
of some
instantly
sort.
in love.
She's got a nice accent. She's good looking. Sort of dark hair, green eyes.
Oh God,
she's
and I'm
just
so
around
dusty.
sort of 18.
I got no dust on me.
No,
and
I'm
I
so
got such
dusty.
a fancy
Why?
hat.
No,
disarming smile.
Damn it.
Clearly, Dirk and Francisco are now immediately in competition with one another.
I love it. I owe you everything. It's all about my brother. And sort of, and when she sees the sort of henchmen that you've brought forward and sees that they're wearing Inquisitors' uniforms, she sort of like puts a kerchief to her face. Oh, Madre de Dios. The Inquisition, oh no. And she looks to Diana, the servant, and switches back to Castilian. They must have found out. How did they know?
They must have found out what?
And then they sort of like take a second to decide whether they're going to trust you or not. But ultimately, they realize they have no choice. We were making our way north to San Juan. My family is just from a short ways from here. Myself and my brother, we were hoping to catch a ship and buy passage to Montaigne. For my brother, more than myself.
Why your brother?
It's a complicated story, but a few years ago, he took pilgrimage to Vatican City, and there he met a pious young Montagne fellow, Philippe. They were smitten, and, well, my father doesn't want him marrying a Montagne, so he's made another arrangement. Ramon is supposed to be marrying the bishop, Bishop Fierro. She's just sailed into Montonen. We were hoping to sneak past as she was unloading, but it seems she was ahead of us.
So I understand what they're saying correctly is that he's in love with a girl that he met in Vatican City, but his father has decided that he's going to marry the bishop instead.
Yep.
And the bishop is very interested in ensuring this process occurs.
Indeed. The bishop clearly does not want her new sort of suitor to necessarily escape her. And additionally, Philippe is a boy.
Oh, okay, right. There we go.
Yeah. And so, yes, young Ramon Machado, the slightly elder brother of Pastora Machado, who is the woman who's speaking to you, she introduces herself as such, and her servant, Diana. He does not want to be his father's heir anymore. He just wants to go and be in love, and he was trying to sneak off and do just that. They were helping.
And now the Inquisition... Oh, well, I was worried that there was going to be a burning at the stake because he was a scientist, but instead, it's just true love.
It's only true love.
And so...
Oh, good. Well, in that case, we
So that means he's at least still alive. Because they want to keep him alive and unlikely to be put up to the stake tonight.
Honestly, I wouldn't put anything past the bishop, though. The marriage is strictly political. Ramon doesn't even care for the company of women.
Who is your father?
My father, Don Fernando Machado.
Is this a name that I would know?
You might have heard of it before. He's a minor member of the aristocracy, fairly wealthy, owns a lot of land around here, and several sort of like quality investment properties.
Yeah, as a friend of the Castilian
orchard, citrus and stuff.
As a friend of the Castilian court, would this also be something that Francesco would have heard about?
Well, you'd certainly have heard of Bishop Adela Fierro, a particularly zealous member of the Inquisition. This neighborhood, this area hasn't had a whole lot of inquisitorial activity so far. Largely, this little chunk of countryside, it's mostly farmers, very pastoral.
You can see it on the map.
It's quite a need for them to come out.
It's quite an isolated mountain region off the coast, so it's kind of keeps to itself.
Exactly. So there hasn't been much cause for the Inquisition to come here yet, but if the bishop's taken an interest, she's probably rolling deep. And likewise, you've heard of Don Fernando. He is also a fairly devout man, and he also seems to hold a lot of the views that the Inquisition also has. He's one of their supporters. And yeah, fairly wealthy in this area, and apparently has 2 rebellious children.
Do my orders, do whatever mission I'm on right now cover anything about about any of these people?
They could if you'd like to. What do you think your orders are at the moment, specifically?
Well, it depends if I'm here for on the orders of the Emperor, or if I'm here on behalf of Sophia's daughters.
I mean, there's a lot of smuggling activity in this area, so it could be both.
See, I'm so smitten with this woman, I now want to rescue her brother just out of admiration.
You could suggest that to the others.
Oh, you poor fool.
Yep. I want to vow we will save in the name of true love. We will save your brother.
There could be a lot of money in this, Dirk, and it would make your reputation quite awesome.
We just have to be, and I let everyone know we have to be very careful. You don't cross this bishop. You don't cross this church. If we do this, we need to do this.
Will, would I receive a hero point for chasing after power even when the opportunity is dangerous?
If that is your character quirk from your character's background,
I'm ambitious.
Certainly would.
Cool. I have 2 hero points then.
Nice.
Because I smell money.
Yeah, man. It's a rich young aristocrat who's got kidnapped. His sister's obviously willing to play ball with you guys.
Oh, is she?
I don't care about your politics. I just want your money.
Has she noticed my fancy new hat?
For God's sake.
She is sort of giving everybody a look, but man, that Eisenfella, he is such a strapping, powerful young lad.
I'm just real pretty. Just beachy sparkles everywhere.
I really almost took the advantage of small, too. I could be standing up to the side. I didn't,
Small.
but even next to you, I'm definitely I'm a short, young Castilian next to this strapping... I know you didn't do anything.
No, you don't.
Definitely in competition. I love it. All right. I want to go rescue her brother just to, have her hand in marriage.
I suppose, Will, that under these circumstances, the bishop taking an interest in the area would be good for neither Sophia's daughters nor the court of Montonen.
Indeed. Also, while the Inquisition does have a subtle side to it, they don't have to hide themselves. They are actually the official face of the church in many places. And so the fact they're doing this with some, cloak and dagger shit is a little weird.
It is, and you know what? As a sorceress, I am also personally offended by the existence of the friggin' Inquisition, because I have magic, it is awesome.
Any chance to stick it to the Inquisition, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? This may be a chance for me to take her off the board as a piece.
I mean, I'm too much of a romantic as well. Like I hear this story and my heart just weeps and breaks, and we have to do this for love. We have to. These two people deserve to be together. We cannot let this happen. It's an injustice to all of humanity.
So Pastora is overjoyed that you seem willing to help. You've already done so much for us. I can't believe that the generosity astounds me. We'll see that you're rewarded as best we can. Do you know where they took him? She looks to everybody sort of hopefully wide-eyed.
No, but I'm sure that they can be tracked.
I'm sure it's over at that boat there with the sails.
Of course. Well, come. My family has a small estate in town. I will give you shelter there, please. And if anything, if they try for me again, it'd be nice to have you around.
Absolutely, we won't let you out of our sight.
You ain't going anywhere, sister.
Okay. So Pastora and Deanna sort of lead you down into the small, sleepy town of Montonen. And on the outskirts of town, her family does have a small manor house. And when you arrive to it, you can see that there's quite a few servants who are active here, and there's lots of hustle and bustle going around. It looks like they're getting ready for something. And she sort of leans into one of the servants and asks a question quickly as they pass, and she turns to you looking very nervous. My friends, I am sorry. It seems that my father has come from the country, and he's holding a fiesta tonight to celebrate the bishop and her coming to visit us.
Will your brother be in attendance?
I assume he would have been. I don't know now.
Excellent. It'll be a perfect opportunity to investigate.
This may not be the best place for you to rest.
We can put on our dress
uniforms. We will take a house in town. I'm sure that it can be arranged very easily.
Yes, and she passes you...
nonsense! We're going to the fiesta!
She gives you a bag of coins that she had on her.
Anna just waves her hand. No. I will pay. It is the least I can do. And she looks her as Francesco's like, we're going to the fiesta. She looks him up and down. Not in those clothes, you are not.
What is wrong with my clothes? This is such a fine hat.
She sort of.
I want to write this down. What is her name?
I
don't want to forget.
What's that?
I want to write down this woman's name.
Her name is Pastora Machado.
Pastora Machado, and her brother.
Her brother is Ramon Machado.
Ramon Machado. Wait, Pastora, isn't that a kind of cheese?
Not that I know of. I just took these names off a list. So.
That's fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Many people are named Cheese in Castille.
Indeed, cheese is one of the higher culinary arts.
Very fine lineage of cheese.
Indeed, yeah.
Better than my last name.
Have some top notch.
So, Will, I am rich. It is one of my advantages.
Me too.
I am going to spend wealth to take us a house in town for a short time and get these people outfitted properly for this sort of thing.
I think that's perfectly reasonable. I'll even charge you 1 wealth for it, because this is sort of like a 3.5 horse town, so
yeah,
prices aren't exorbitant. As you go shopping about, you find that the town there's a bustle, and there's a sort of nervousness to everyone in town. There's a strange energy in the streets. some people sort of see outsiders and just, like, scamper off immediately. Some people are giving you guys sort of, like, side-eye, because you still kind of look like hell.
I don't. I look phenomenal.
That's true. Well, you look merely phenomenal, as opposed to superlatively phenomenal.
I look scary.
Stupid road dust.
Indeed. And yeah, you look scary as hell, Jose. So yeah, people are giving you a couple of weird looks, but yeah, you can find some stuff. If you want, you can tell us how dolled up you're gonna get.
Quite.
How we will become as dolled up as is necessary for a fiesta, with clothing appropriate, that certain objects can be hidden within it.
Exactly, lots of colors, lots of flowing ponchos and covering up all the stuff underneath. Yeah.
Various guitar cases.
Yeah, yes! Outfit, no matter what, will incorporate the fact that she is still carrying, she's never unfurled the thing, her parasol.
I do have a 3.
Because it may contain sharp, spiky objects.
I do have a 3 in perform. Can't we go as the entertainment to this feast?
You could, if you wanted.
What do we need?
That's entirely up to you. You're pretty sure you'll be able to get an invite, no problem.
All right, fine. We'll get an invite. We'll rub some elbows. We'll get to know everyone. I'll learn the true love of Pastora. It'll be great.
Yeah, sure.
As a note, everything that Anna wears has long sleeves on it. Just like, it doesn't matter what the temperature is, long sleeves.
Always.
Yeah. There's a reason for that.
There most certainly is.
I want to say something obnoxious like Francesco always wears V-necks, but it's always like showing skin. Always showing skin.
So I think now
Zorro vibe.
Yeah,
you've got some time until the end of the day, till the evening when this fiestas start. And so you find yourself a sort of rental tenement that's a nice house you can base yourselves out of, and you pick up some lovely clothes for the night. But then you have a few hours to kind of do what you'd like. And if you don't have anything particular in mind, I think we could resolve this with a dramatic scene, one of the other types of roles that the game calls for. So unless anybody's got a specific sort of high-octane plan, I think a dramatic scene's in order here.
Is it too soon to go Romeo and Juliet on Pastora?
Outside of, like, a combat situation, I'm going to place a blood mark on the safe house.
Well, I mean, with sorcery, if it says it calls for a hero point, it always calls for a hero point.
I don't know if it does in that... Sorry, I gotta look this up. I'm not sure I marked the... I thought I marked the page, but...
Didn't mark the marks.
I'd like to investigate where possible sniper spots might be.
Okay, so you want to case the joint, basically.
Yeah, I want to use athletics and Assassin's Creed this shit.
Okay, so you want to Assassin's Creed around town.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I gotta spend a mark. I gotta spend a hero point to make a mark.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings me down to 1 hero point, but I'll place a major mark on the safe house.
Nice. So you spend some time bleeding everywhere.
Okay, well, I mean,
it's actually very small, the amount that you need.
That's true.
It's just a finger prick to place the mark. And so when people are out of the room doing something else, Anna discreetly pricks her finger and bloodies the wall behind like a sofa or something, and then pushes the sofa back.
Nice. I love it.
Cool. I mean, let's think this through. Let's say we find Ramon and we're able to reunite him with Pastora and get him off to, I can't remember, it was a Pierre or Philippe? It was Philippe. Philippe is not in Montonen.
He is in Montaigne.
Yeah, Philippe is in Montaigne. So we if our goal is here to reunite Ramon with his love Philippe in Montaigne, we need to also get them out of Montonen. Under the eyes of the bishop and out of Castille. Now, Montonen is on a coast. We're right on the bay. We just got to get him onto a boat, get across the water to Montaigne. So it's not like we have to cross country here. So maybe we should secure a vessel here in the port.
I believe that I can sort that out. Will?
Yeah?
I'm going to invoke one of my quirks on my sheet to earn a hero point when you leverage the king's favor to solve a problem.
Ooh.
Which would be finding a Montaigne vessel.
A Montaigne smuggler.
And having a very short, very private conversation with the captain that involves the words commandeering on crown business.
Okay, so you want to commandeer a vessel. I think that's going to earn you a hero point to leverage your poor countryman's favor. And so then
pay him.
Of course. Francisco, what are you up to?
I want to learn more about the Machado family. I want to get to know their
Okay, so you're going
to
to ask some questions around.
I want to learn all about what Pastora is into.
How about
our
daring Eisen?
Does she have a favorite flower?
Oh, I am having the longest bath.
Okay, you're just going to, like, chill out and sort of, like, try and find some peace?
I'm writing sonnets.
He has to look good for later.
I'm making myself beautiful for later.
Okay, so you're getting yourself
you're
and
like
proper,
Geralt.
like going to a bathhouse.
You're Geralt from The Witcher, except only the bath scenes.
Only the bath scenes. Super cut with only the bath scenes. That's me.
It's when they did Witcher 2, they made a joke trailer for Dandelion, Savior of Queens.
Oh no! It me
awesome.
though.
Okay, so going around, Birdman. Jose Wick, he's going to be sort of casing the joint, and I think athletics is right on the dot. So give me a finesse athletics for this scene.
Okay, just give me a sec here. So roll.
And then I think Anna Henrietta is, it sounds like she's doing some convincing, or possibly intimidating.
I was thinking convince.
I thought so too, because you're only threatening real, actual danger. You're not embellishing anything. So, yeah, give us a panache convince for that, and again, you get dice.
Okay, I got 5 raises.
So how many dice am I adding to this? One for first time in the scene, and then another for describing?
That's right. Plus the regular dice pool.
I'm rolling 9 dice.
In that case, I need to roll 1 more dice.
Beauty.
Yeah, let me dig another die out of here. All right, should I just roll it now?
Yeah, you can roll this now. This is a dramatic scene. They're a little bit different than action scenes, and the pacing is a bit different. And in terms of, like, consequences and opportunities, a lot of those are more things that you guys are going to get to make as we go through this.
That's 6 raises, Will.
Beauty.
One moment while I put together all of my freaking raises.
What does this say here on my sheet where it says rank 3, re-roll a single die?
Ah, yes. I haven't been leaning on that.
Oh, right.
If you have 3 points in a skill, when you roll a risk using that skill, when you roll that skill, you can take one of the dice and re-roll it.
Oh, okay.
I'm re-rolling a die.
Also, I guess Birdman got healed up. Another neat thing about 7th Sea 2nd Edition is that as you get hurt, as you continue down what's called the death spiral, you get alternatively, for every odd dramatic wound you take, you get a bonus, and every even dramatic wound you take, you get a penalty.
The book actually has it as a yay, boo, yay.
Exactly.
Plus 1 bonus die to all
I've
risk,
got 6 raises.
Okay, now Justin and Bree.
Yeah.
Justin, you wanted to sort of just like ask around, right?
I want to get to know the family better. I want to know...
Get to know them.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that's empathy and panache.
If you're asking the people, it could be empathy, panache. If you were sort of just like prowling the streets and asking in bars and stuff, it'd be more of a notice.
Yeah, I'm not just prowling the streets. I'm wanting to actually get to know this family, especially if we're about to go to a fiesta. Might be get to know a little bit about their customs. I mean, I could do notice. It'll be the same amount of dice. But I mean, obviously, this isn't Justin speaking. This is Francisco speaking. He's got ulterior ideas right now, and he's just completely love-struck, and it's gonna get a problem for him. Or I could be walking around town getting to know more about the Montonens and the people. I just want to know so that when we go to this fiesta, we know names, we know faces already, so we can hobnob a little bit more without going in blind.
Yeah. That's sounding more like empathy. You're trying to get to know people, get a read on them.
Where Dodd is casing the joint physically, I'm kind of doing that same way, but on a social side.
I think you are. That seems pretty reasonable. And then Bree, you are getting yourself ready. You're getting your hair did, all that good stuff.
Well, there's a tangle in my hair, and it's such a trial.
You just don't have. You can't bring yourself to get that out. Is there any sort of things you're trying to accomplish besides looking boss as fuck?
Oh no, I am 100% just trying to look boss as fuck for Pastora because I saw the way she was looking at me and I saw the way that my companion was looking at her. So it's personal now.
There's a bit of competition here. Okay, then I think...
I will expose you for the fraud that you are.
Then you know what? I think you're rolling a convince. This is gonna be a panache convince to make your case that you are the one who should really have Pastora's hand.
Look how pretty I am. Just look at me. Amazing.
All right, so roll that up, guys.
Okay.
I got all the wrong ideas. I'm actually trying to do things for the family, and you're just trying to just look pretty.
No.
It's awesome. I'm sure it'll work out great for both of you.
What could possibly go wrong?
Okay, how many you got?
Ooh, I actually did quite well. I got 3 raises. I got 3 sets of 10s. That's 3 raises, right?
There you go. That's 3 raises.
I have...
And how about you, Bree?
I have 4. 4 raises.
4, okay. So, Birdman.
Actually,
I believe you had 6, correct?
Let me re-roll that, because I realized I rolled a D0.
You rolled with 2,
yes.
right? Mm-hmm. So you can
let me make sure, but I have 5 for sure.
What is a D0? What?
Yeah, I fucked up. I still got 5 anyway, whatever. Okay, so.
Okay, so you got 5.
Cool.
Tell me about casing this joint.
Okay,
It's a
so
small estate.
Brielle
It's got
took
a
5.
modest, beautiful garden behind it, and a fairly small sort of coach lane that goes through the surrounding wall leading up. It's that nice sort of like typical sort of like clay house, lovely sort of terracotta tiles. Very attractive.
I'm going to use all my stealth and parkour to stay to the shadows, be able to monitor sight lines where guards can come in, and any doors that are there. Can I spend a raise to sabotage doors?
You could. It would cost you 2
theft?
raises though, because that's not exactly what you rolled, right? You did athletics.
Yes.
So if you unless you can think of some way that your sort of physicality busts a door in a way that they're not going to just like notice and fix it. You can still do it for 2 raises. This is called improvising. It's when you want to do something that isn't exactly in the approach you set out.
Okay. I want to improvise and perhaps use it so these doors, if any force is applied to them, they'll be tougher to open.
Okay, so like out back,
sabotaging the locks.
Yeah, out back there's like a servant's gate. And you see that they're bringing in various food and supplies, and like the last guy's hauling in like a big thing of flour because they're probably gonna be doing some sort of baking and such. And as he goes in, you see that nobody's watching that door for the next little while, and you can get down there and you can fuck with the lock a little bit so that it'll feel like it's locked, but it's not actually sealing anything. One good push and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yep.
Anybody else on 4 now?
Bree had 5.
I actually had
6
5,
raises,
as it turns
but I
out.
don't really know what I'm doing with them, so...
Gotcha. So for this, you were... So remind me of your approach again. I've forgotten. I apologize.
I was just trying... I was ensuring that we had passage booked to Montaigne by finding a Montagnian captain, and basically through a mix of bribery and the words commandeering on behalf of the crown.
That's it, yes.
Where I am essentially leveraging the king's favor to solve a problem.
So it sounds like you're going to want to then head to a dockside pub to find yourself a captain.
Yes, and this is where it's going to get hilarious because she's going to... she'll walk in as herself because she needs a ship, and this is a shit town anyway.
Indeed. You go into La Perro Riendo, the Laughing Dog. It's a nice sort of seaside, typical sort of tavern/inn. It's full of old, sort of nasty salts who are all sort of mumbling over their grog, rolling dice, singing songs. And there's several gentlemen there who may or may not be ship's captains, and a couple of ladies, too. You saw that out in the bay, besides, like, the big honking inquisitorial galleon, that there was also sort of 4 or 5 other ships sort of at anchor. Some of them small, some of them large. They look like they're sort of standard sort of merchant vessels coming up and down the coast here.
Excellent connection. Okay, you have connections, etc., etc. You can always contact some who will give you basic information or help you in some minor way. My connections would likely be with, I guess, with Montagnian-affiliated people or Montagnian-affiliated, basically Montaigne expats or Montaignes in this area. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That's cool. So if you want to spend a raise, you can just meet a captain.
Yeah, I will meet a captain. Because it's Anna, the captain is likely a woman.
Yeah, sure. So you come up to a captain, and she's sort of like in the middle of like playing some dice with some other sort of obviously lower sailors and kicking their asses. And she sees that you want her attention, and she sort of stands up, cup in hand. What may I do for you?
Finish playing first.
All right.
And win.
Well, that was the intention all along. So she goes back to her game, and in short order does in fact win handily. The other guys sort of like grumble and moan and pay up their guilders, the big silver coins that are common throughout the planet. And she sort of is quite pleased with herself and offers one of their chairs to you as they sort of fuck off. A drink for my friend here. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with you. My name is Captain Maria. Captain Maria Dupont.
Lady Anna Henrietta de Pie.
Ah! I took from your dress and countenance that you are a countryman.
Indeed. Please, Captain, yes, we will have a drink, she says to the barman, giving that kind of that smile, but also that appraising look of, that just sort of communicates the good stuff.
Yeah, he's kind of got that figured out, so he's going to come back in a few moments with a brandy and a couple of cups.
I require your assistance, Captain, on the matter of interest to our mutual monarch.
Ah, for the good l'Empereur. Always. My vessel is at your command, I suppose. Surely you have some way to prove your claim.
And Anna actually pulls back the arm of her dress, and her arm is covered in scars. It looks more or less. She almost looks like she cuts herself. Well, she does cut herself, but like someone who does like massive self-harm all the time, or has had many failed suicide attempts.
Ooh, nasty. So she sort of recoils at this, but she gets the picture. This is a sure sign that you are, in fact, Porte Sorcière, one of the mages of Montagne. You got magic in your blood. She's more willing to listen now.
Which also means that I am almost certainly one of the aristocracy.
Indeed.
This is a matter of discretion, but it is a matter which will assist, inevitably, Montaigne, and will assist your coffers as well.
Ah, indeed. Your subtlety, you say. I apologize for my posturing to begin with. I was honestly not expecting this. What is it you need, precisely?
To not dance around the point, you are a captain of a Montaigne vessel traveling into Castille. You no doubt have a certain hold in your ship, which you have ensured is in a discreet location so that it is not searched by certain port officials.
Indeed, we do have such a place.
I am going to need it emptied enough for 3 individuals to be hidden within. They do not necessarily have to be comfortable. The trip will not be terribly long.
Ah, all right. I understand that you're aware of our new neighbors, she says, sort of gesturing towards the harbor and indicating the inquisitorial galleon.
Indeed. And that is unfortunate, but that is part and parcel of the situation. However, if all goes well, they will be quite busy with other matters.
Pretty sure that boat's going to sink to the bottom of the water in the next hour.
Indeed. So you can see that she's still fairly nervous, but if you spend a raise, you've got her convinced.
I spend a raise.
Nice.
Lord knows I have enough of them.
She downs the brandy when it shows up. The Signy is yours.
Yeah. Anna raises her glass, what would be the Montaigne toast? It'd be like to the health of the king, or
let them eat cake. That would be the toast.
Pardon?
Just making a joke. Let them eat cake.
Pardon, Justin?
Let them eat cake.
Oh God, no.
We are around that sort of time.
To the cake.
Yeah, you guys, you raise your glasses and toast and clink. Great. So let's switch on now. Let's see what's going on with, let's say, Justin. What's Francisco doing?
Francisco, he had a raise of 3. I Everyone's doing productive things, casing the joints and securing passage out of town, and I want to just get to know what the Machado family is all about, so that we are going into this fiesta with a bit of knowledge and understanding, and who knows, maybe I'll learn a few extra key details about Pastora along the way. I mean, I wouldn't.
Beautiful.
Wouldn't.
So you know what? I tell you what.
Put that in the way of doing our real
raises,
job.
and I'm just going to give you some info.
Yeah, you've got it. Was I going around town and it's just like a montage of people telling me, "Oh yeah,
it's going to be a montage." You got it. You read my mind.
Excellent. In my nice new hat.
So Francisco spends his afternoon asking around, right? Mm-hmm. He's trying to get to know the people of Montonen. The first thing you get from the people is that the people are pretty divided. Slightly less than half of them are so glad that the Inquisition has finally showed up, because let me tell you, man, my wife's sister, she is definitely a heretic, not a godly woman. I'm so excited to see this lady burn. I hate her guts. Something always told me there was something wrong with her. She must be why the Inquisition is here. And like several people kind of have that version of the story in their heads. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is scared shitless of the Inquisition being here.
Oh, they're the smart people.
Indeed, or at least the perhaps kindlier folk. Yeah. They are terrified. They've heard horrible things. A few of them have been to neighboring centers where the Inquisition is more active, and they've seen, people dragged from their homes and burned, and all the horrible things the Inquisition normally gets up to. So seeing those red sails in harbor was terrifying for them, and that hasn't gone away. Yeah. That's the first thing you pick up.
And they came without
pretty
warning.
Obvious.
They came without warning, right? They just showed up.
They just showed up. Nobody knew this was going to happen. Although, as you ask around, you find out that some people knew that Bishop Adela Fierro had interest in this area before. In fact, she's purchased some land in and around the area. A fairly large tracts of land, but land that really wasn't very valuable. And everybody kind of just thought, she was just investing, these things happen. Most folks didn't know about it, but at a bar in another part of this montage, you come across a fairly drunken clerk who's talking about the various sort of prices of land in the area, and how that now that the Inquisition's here, you're going to see incredible inflation. There's going to be people who are leaving in high vacancy rates, but who want to be with the Inquisition are going to charge so much, and he goes on and on and on, and honestly kind of bores you a little bit.
How far away is this land that she purchased? Is it in Montonen or just like on the outskirts?
It's on the outskirts, and in fact, it happens to border Don Machado's lands.
Oh. Well, if there's a place where Ramon is being held. All right, keep going.
What's that?
I was just thinking out loud about Ramon. Maybe that's where he's being held.
It may be.
In some kind of
furthermore, you find that there have been no missing persons reports whatsoever. The town guard are kind of taking it easy, because now there's inquisitorial knuckle-draggers walking about. They're like, great, finally. We don't need to worry. It's always been a sleepy town, but now we can actually fucking sleep. Like, there's not going to be any problem with these guys here.
And
nobody's talked about missing persons.
No missing persons then implies that the Inquisition isn't going around kicking in doors and taking people in the night like they tend to do.
Well, indeed. They have not been doing that yet.
Okay, so the Inquisition is being
you also
a little too quiet.
That the local priests have been real quiet. In fact, nobody has really seen them in a while.
Oh.
You get the impression that they're kind of just keeping their heads down while the Inquisitors do their thing. And then finally,
what are they hiding?
If you continue sort of asking around, you finally find yourself at La Pierre dockside sort of Laughing Dog bar, shortly after Anna Henrietta had vacated it. And you get talking to some people there, and you find out that the inquisitorial ship is the Potentia.
The Potentia.
And further, you find out that this afternoon, somebody basically had Inquisitors show up and demand their boat, and then row out there with some sort of cargo in a bag.
Oh, damn, that's where Roman is.
And there's like a fisherman there who's like got like a black eye, and he's sort of complaining about it, but not too loud, because he doesn't want people to think he's, irreligious in this sort of climate.
Was this cargo a person? Or Jeds?
They don't know. He didn't really see on account of being laid out by a goon. But like he did describe it as a misshapen sack that two of them were carrying. So maybe.
Of course, we now have to sneak on to this now named ship, which makes it a plot device, and rescue Roman, burn the ship to the ground, and swing off by rope into the water, safely swimming to the shore, as are told in the stories.
That could be a reasonable thing that may, in fact, occur.
My delusions of heroism immediately start extrapolating potential futures.
Oh, good. Now, Bree. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say, Derek?
I still had 4 raises, but I can inject them later.
No, don't worry. I'm going around. Initiative order's not as tight in this, because I know Mike's still got tons, too.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So, Bree, what do you got?
She's got a loofah.
Yeah. Look, I had a lot of dust on me, okay?
I have invented bath bombs.
Okay, so you're making the case that you are the person who Astora should be interested in, right?
Of course I am.
And so I assume you're gonna go somewhere like baths here. There's a few chunks of like still working like ancient aqueducts from the Numenari Empire that used to rule this place.
Do they have public baths?
They got a couple of public baths,
yes.
And they're very nice.
That's where I'm going.
Awesome.
Baths are only better when everyone can look at you.
So the whole town is going to be talking about this ice and man muffin.
Yeah.
Just like,
man muffin?
He's not a man, he's a legend.
This is going to be shortly.
Walking, muscly legend.
Bishonen.
And how many raises did you have?
I have 5.
All right. So how many of those do you want to dedicate to being boss as fuck? Or how much of those do you want to maybe dedicate to chatting to the various people you've hired to scrub the calluses you don't have?
I mean, I think I'll spend probably 3 of them on being boss as fuck, and 2 of them on just charming everyone I come into contact with.
Okay. So yeah, you've definitely got,
when you get out of the bath,
like you said, like the twinkling stars around you. You smell amazing. You look like you walked off of a woodcut in a romantic sort of book.
I am a Rococo painting of myself.
100%. And as you're doing this, you know, the people who are doing hair, and people who are shining your boots and stuff, they get chatting to you because you're very pretty, you're very interesting, and you're obviously a person worth knowing. And as they sort of start chatting you up, you do pick up a couple of interesting things.
Oh.
The first thing is they assume you're going to Don Machado's fiesta.
Of course I am.
And they're so glad that the first Eisen they've met isn't one of those horrible objectionists. I hear they eat children. No, they don't eat children. That's crazy. They burn children and throw them on spikes. Oh, I'm sorry. I was so confused. But you're not like any of that, are you? And they like look up to you with like blinking eyes and obviously a great respect for how unique and different you are to the horrible stories they heard.
Oh, of course not. But then I also regale them with how awful it is just to grow up in Eisen, right? And I tell them all of the horrible stories about how there are demons everywhere and nothing grows and you grow up eating grubs and roots, right? Which, of course, I did none of because I was sent out of the country, like, as a very young child.
Miles away.
Yeah. But I tell them all of the...
You've never eaten a grub in your life.
I've never eaten a grub. But I do tell them all of the imaginary hardships of my imaginary Eisen childhood.
Oh, they bite it hook, line, and sinker. They feel so sorry for you. You get various hugs, kisses on the cheek. And one of them says, I'm going to make sure. My sister works at the estate. One of the cooks. I'm going to make sure that everyone knows that you have a tale to tell. It pains me to think that another member of the faith, another human being even, would go through such terrible things. I will see to it that you get a seat as close to the dawn as possible.
Fraud! Fraud!
I'm the best at being a fraud.
What about my hat?
You might even be near the bishop. I'm sure the bishop would love to hear about this.
Oh, absolutely.
She's a very worldly woman, as much as a member of the Inquisition is.
Oh, well, that will be very interesting. Of course, I'll be happy to have her ear.
Awesome. So
amazing.
You've basically got a small chunk of the townsfolk as your sort of steadfast supporters.
Like instant folk hero.
You're an instant folk hero. that day that the Eisen came to town and everything went my way afterwards. Oh my
Bards
God,
are going to be singing
Yeah, they're going to write
30
songs about me, right? I'm going to have my own, like, Gallivant opening as I go to
totally.
this.
You can already hear there's, like, a guy in the background who's, like, strumming a guitar and sort of, like, noodling away, trying to rhyme with Vice.
Oh my God!
I'm the best at being a
fraud. You got the meaning out of
fraud.
the palm of your hand. Now, let's go back to Mike. What is Jose up to? He's secured either an entrance or an escape route out of the back. What else is he interested in doing as he's flipping and jumping around?
Let me see. I'd actually like to run down by the docks.
Okay.
I want to sabotage the sails on that huge Inquisition ship.
Ah, that is a different type of risk. That would probably pretty much almost immediately fall into an action risk. If you're going to get out there and start, like, sabotaging the ship, which is, like, actively manned, right?
You might want the group for that.
And I would consider this an ambitious thing, so I'd get a hero point, wouldn't I?
You could get a hero point for that, absolutely.
If you get caught, I don't know you.
Yeah. So I tell you what, do you know anything about sailing?
Yes.
You're a pirate.
You damn right I am.
I mean, I would be happy to help you with this, Dodd. If I investigate something unusual, especially dangerous, I get a hero point just for my curious hubris. So I have no problem going in to investigate a dangerously charged area.
Okay, so maybe me and Diego can spyglass from a distance and be like, all right, what do you think?
It's like, let's see how close to the beehive we can get before we get stung by bees.
Okay.
Are there any bees in Montonen?
There are lots of bees. First off, on the actual docks, there are guards, right? There are guys who are going through people's cargo and just generally being a nuisance. Assuming you can get past them, and Jose, you could spend one of your athletics raises to sort of, like, plunge in the water, maybe swim around some of those guys, or, like, climb around the side of a building to avoid them, whatever you can think would be good.
I'm gonna parkour that shit, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you're gonna parkour between some of the taller buildings that are on the edge of town. And manage to sort of leap over a patrol of Inquisitors. You get access to a boat.
You're very good at jumping, Jose.
He's very good at jumping. And the buildings are all close together here. And so you've got yourself a boat. You sort of gesture to Francisco to get him to come along with you, because I assume you are game for this, Justin?
Of course I am. I'm curious.
Of course you are, of course. And so then you guys then get together and are going to row out. Now, it's the middle of the day. It's broad daylight. It's sort of getting to be late afternoon, so, people are kind of waking up from what siestas they took. So they're going to see you coming.
Well, it's a good thing.
Is there anything you'd like to try and do to avoid any attention they may give you?
Can I actually spend a raise or two to assist them in this?
You absolutely can, if Anna Henrietta wants to get in on it.
All right, what do you got?
Well, I have all these raises, and I appear to have ingratiated myself with all of these captains. I'm assuming she probably bought them all a round of drinks afterwards, etc., etc.
That seems reasonable.
The boat obviously needs supplies brought across to it on a regular basis, yes?
Of course it does.
So one of the captains has to go across
fresh
with
bread.
a ship.
One of the merchant captains does have has been given a shitty contract by the Inquisitors to provide the goods that he has to them exclusively.
Right, and he needs laborers to put them on the ship because,
absolutely.
Those Inquisition soldiers, they tend to be famously lazy when it comes to actually doing anything other than hurting innocent people.
That is 100% true.
Excellent. I'm going to spend how many? Will one raise get them in with the captain as laborers with him?
Just a day
labor? Yeah, one raise will gladly get you onto that boat that's destined to go out there anyway.
Why do I know
Excellent.
that, Anna Henrietta? You're just going to speak right down to us, going like, "Get to work, man."
Yeah. No. She's not coming on the ship.
Yeah.
However, Am I assumed to have nothing marked coming into this game, or?
I think it's safe to say you have a few things marked.
Okay, minor marks. At least one's on my parasol.
Yeah.
I will have another one on just it's like a hairpin or something like that. That I carry around for situations just like this. I remove my hairpin, and I will just slide it into one of their outfits somewhere.
Do you put it in my fancy hat?
No, because you're going to have to take off the hat if you're pretending to be a day laborer.
No. Okay, we'll keep it safe.
Yeah, but somewhere. And she's going to phrase it as, just take my favor with you, etc. To play into their noble
luck.
Instincts.
Yeah.
It depends if they have enough brain cells together to rub together to figure out exactly what the significance of a Montagne noblewoman giving someone something like that is.
Oh, I'm too love-struck to care.
Yeah.
With a completely different person, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So you've put a mark onto Francisco. He's bearing it for you.
Well, he's bearing a minor mark.
That's right.
Which means that I can pull myself towards it, or I can pull it to me. I can't open a door.
Yeah.
However, if absolutely necessary, I could pull myself towards it and then cut myself again to open a door to somewhere else, like the safe house.
Indeed.
Cool.
That's going to hurt a lot.
That will not be fun if it comes to that.
So much screaming.
Do I need to spend a raise on that?
Yes, please.
Okay, I still have 2 raises left.
Great. Who else still has raises?
Oh, I got a shit ton.
As I say, Dodd, you've barely used any.
I have no raises. I'm just playing into my hubris and virtue by helping him out
Absolutely, and you shall be
points.
rewarded. Okay, so Dodd, you guys row up with a couple of other sort of like random sailor grunts.
Heave-ho.
You row up to the Inquisition boat. What do you intend to do?
I intend to tell them that I'm here to double check their sails on orders of the harbor master.
You can see that like the guy who's sort of like looking over the gunnels down at you sort of looks skeptical as hell, but he also can't imagine what you could possibly do. Now, for perspective, this is a galleon, right?
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's got a crew of like 300.
Yeah, it's got like 39 sails.
I'm thinking like Assassin's Creed. That's how I'm trying to picture this in my head, like Black Flag.
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough,
bigger
fair
than
enough.
that. Bigger than the ship that they're in.
I mean, the cover they've got will get them onto the ship with boxes which may be full of weapons or whatever they need, so...
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely stuff you can loot and you'll be on the box. It's just a good, clear plan of what you're going to do to them is going to be a very useful thing.
Let me see. So if we're on the boat...
Let's blow it up.
Yeah, you get up, they bring you up there, and the guy's bought it. Like, if you spend a raise, he's willing to let you climb up there.
Yeah, and we can carry the boxes in and maybe
I'll do it.
find out if Roman's on the ship.
What was that, Justin? Sorry?
If we can bring the boxes in to take it down into the hold, we might be able to spot where if Roman is actually being held.
Indeed.
You do
may.
that.
On this boat.
You do that. I'll take care of the sails. I don't want this thing chasing after us.
Meanwhile, I'm back in like our rented accommodations, just like laying out outfits for everyone and humming to myself, just like
You're back in our
We're gonna look
rented
so
apartment.
pretty.
All right, so
Airbnb.
Todd...
probably.
Yeah, at this point, probably. Yeah, you'd probably both get back there. So, Jose climbs up into the sails. How are you going to sabotage these sails?
I'm going to, so when they...
Keep in mind that, like, there are still sailors here actively doing stuff.
In the middle of the day.
Okay, so I want to spend a theft, if I can.
Okay, it's going to cost you 2 raises.
Okay, so I still have 2 left after this. And I want to stealthily cut them, so when they go to full sail, they'll just fall right to the deck.
Okay, so you basically sabotage the yardarm on the mainsail so that it's going to drop. Okay, that's certainly reasonable. It won't necessarily stop them entirely, but it will definitely screw things up. Okay, so you sort of wait till the guys who are, busy like making minor repairs up there and like rethreading some of the various rattling clouds. You wait for them to sort of have their back turned or be singing along to a particularly exciting verse from the shantyman down below. And yeah, you get in there with a knife and sort of start to basically loosen the bonds and sabotage them in such a way that as soon as they bear weight, that yardarm's coming down.
Yeah.
Great. You still have 2 raises. You're the only one left with raises, I believe, unless Derek's got a few.
I have 2 more raises. I don't know what I could spend them on at this point, but...
It all depends what Francisco gets up to.
Whatever you can imagine you would accomplish, you're welcome to give it a try.
I want to spend my other 2 races on getting us a distraction. Something big and flashy so that when we get Ramon out of the party and to the boat, the Inquisition is looking the other way. Not just, especially if we sabotage their ship successfully, but something that's just going to absolutely capture their attention and draw at least some of their forces away from us.
Can I ask a question about your mark, Derek? This is when you call back the pin, is that like just going to pull me through physical space, or does the pin just disappear, or do I go, or do you come to me? How does that happen?
What would happen is pull a minor mark to herself.
Because your mark is now in the hold
of the Porte rules that are not written the best.
There's some vagaries in there.
There's some vagaries. Like, it says that I can pull myself to a minor mark.
But what does it mean?
I then walk to a major mark?
Yeah, so...
Yeah, my assumption is with the pulls, if you pull the object to you, is sort of the way I've always imagined it, it comes through the walkway. But if you're pulling yourself to the mark, you literally physically yank yourself in space. That's how I always imagined it.
Your mark is now in the hold of the Potentia, which is why I was...
Yes, which is... Yeah, I don't know. The Porte rules get a really kind of gummy right there.
Because I don't have any raises to spend, so I can't do anything about it. But if I did, if I found Roman in the hold, I would just give him this pin, and I would say for luck, for favor.
Perfect. Can I spend like one raise to get us a distraction and one raise to just get Ramon the pin somehow?
That's assuming we find him.
I think it's reasonable for you to spend one on the. It's easy to spend one on the distraction. There's lots of various sort of like sailors on the docks. You could definitely like browbeat them into causing some trouble. Like, be like, listen, at this time, riot, boys.
Yep. Nope. I seem to be very good at browbeating people. Man, when I'm not having to deal with Montagne courtiers, I'm really forceful.
Yeah. Slightly bossy, that, Anna.
Yeah.
That's fair. Now, in terms of getting the pin onto Ramon, you don't know exactly where he is.
No.
Yeah.
All we have
is
a vague story.
Bothering me. It's staring at me with its stupid 10 face.
All we have is
Okay, so let's look at...
Get a crew manifest.
What if you just use it to make yourself look real pretty?
Yeah. You can absolutely sort of insult the harbor master into giving you the goods, so to speak, all the deets.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, so yeah, you stomp into the harbor. I guess you very classily glide into the harbor master's office, and he's not too keen on seeing you because, in my imagination, all our harbor masters set all the time.
Yep.
And sort of sees the look on your face and be like, "Listen, what do you need? Let's make this fast. I have lots to do."
As she speaks, she very slyly pushes forward a a kerchief with a bunch of guilders under it. She slips him some money. I was wondering, monsieur, I met the man who said that he worked upon that large ship out in the harbor.
Yes, on the Potentia, the Inquisitors. They've not been very secretive.
No, but he also did not tell me his name, and this is quite unfortunate, as she flicks her eyes very carefully down to the handkerchief and very quickly back up at him. I must know his name so that I can return his favor to him.
Surely you met Captain Silva, the man who commands that vessel. He was just here a few moments ago collecting the fireworks for the fiesta.
Fireworks, you say?
Fireworks.
Indeed, very expensive. From what I understand, they were shipped in from Cathay, especially for the bishop's visit. It seems a strange choice for an inquisitor, but we don't have them visiting often, do we?
Indeed. And yeah, she just kind of wants to ply and see if she can get kind of like some kind of manifest for the ship. I mean, it's obvious to him that she's not, that this is all pretense, but...
Absolutely, and his little exchange was pretense for him giving you basically like, I'm just going to go into the back and, have a bite to eat. And he just, leaves you with the books.
Yeah. And she pulls out from her, she'd have, a handbag or a chatelaine or something like that with a notebook on it. And just very quickly...
Nice. So you make some copies.
Yep.
You're a spy.
Other vessels, there is the Estrella del Mar, that is in the bay, as well as... the Principe, and then of course the Signy, which is the Montagne vessel that Captain Maria has, as well. There is also La Triomphe.
La Triomphe.
La Triomphe. So those are the other vessels that are there.
What the heck is Le Triomphe? It sounds really impressive.
It sounds really impressive.
Fucking fishing boat.
It's actually like the worst boat.
Just a fucking fishing boat.
It's just like a little
I am going
dredger.
to ruin that captain's life sheerly out of spite for him picking that name. Either that or he's amazing.
Maybe it's both. We'll have to find out.
Maybe he's just the fisherman
you get
version
all the
of
comings
Dirk.
and goings in the harbor, basically.
Maybe he's Poncho's son. Did anyone think about that? Back up there, the chewing wheat. That's Poncho's son out there dredging fish up with his nets.
Indeed.
Keeping all those 7 grandkids fed up in the house, up on the ranch.
Oh my god, every single conflict we get into, at least one consequence coming into it is one of Poncho's family needs to be saved in some way.
I mean, that wasn't canon, but it is now.
Little doe eyes looking up.
On that note, you do notice that a lot of people have been shipping in a huge amount of basically like building supplies.
For this tract of
It
land.
looks like somebody is planning to do a lot of construction.
Would it be probably fitting that if she marries Ramon, she acquires his father's lands,
Indeed.
cathedral, or some kind of base for the Inquisition?
That's like almost certain what she's up to. This is an area that, again, the Inquisition hasn't been strong. If they're to have an actual facility here, right on the coast, they would be able to train a lot of people and pump out a lot of foot soldiers. And it's also rich farmland. There's lots of supplies here.
Yup.
They're gonna turn this place into a fully functioning death port.
The last person with any raises is Jose Wick.
Can he spend those raises
I could
on
start a slow, very slow burning fire on the ship so it won't go off? Like it's basically just start like a slow smoldering fire.
You could, but again, there's hundreds of guys on here. They're gonna notice.
Huh.
Right? Like it'd be a very short-term benefit. I don't think it would get
okay,
you much
tell you
longer.
what. Okay. So they want to do that.
find Ramon?
What?
See if I'm here. Can he
Find
spend
Ramon.
is he able to use his raises on me there as like an extension of his moves because I'm also on the boat with him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm willing to let that happen.
And case out like the whole we put the boxes down, but we take a little extra time coming back upstairs to see like who's in the brig and see if they are actually holding this man here.
Yeah, I'll burn my last 2 to find Ramon.
Okay, so you guys together team up and you burn your last 2 to sort of wander around the ship, acting like lost goons. And
I thought the washrooms were over here.
Yeah, exactly. The brig is empty. However, as soon as you get even within eyesight of the captain's quarters, you get, like, man, crossed halberds, and boom, there are inquisitorial guards being like, back. Your boat is that way. It's obvious that they're guarding something there beyond, just the captain's underwear.
We're like, oh, sorry, gentlemen. Got a little turned around.
All right.
I was going to disarming smile, use a hero point to just disarming smile just long enough. They're not going to act violently, but they'll throw me out the ship, but not long enough before I see who's in that room.
You know what? Yeah. If you disarming smile them, spend that hero point, and they kind of linger a bit. You see that, like, some sort of drudge comes up from below with, like, a plate of food and, like, some bandages and stuff. And he knocks, and somebody inside opens the door, and you catch just a glimpse of clothing that you recognize as being what Ramon was wearing before he got snatched.
When
he is indeed laid up in there, possibly tied to the bed. Hard to tell. He's definitely laying down on the bed.
That lucky man. Okay. Did I say that out loud?
Okay, so they kick you off the ship.
Would that count
your
as
business is done and you've been more than suspicious?
Will, would that count towards Do you hear me, Will? Would that count towards receiving a hero point when you investigate something, especially if it looks dangerous?
I think it does. You rolled space and then received a hero point.
Excellent. I'm okay with that.
The economy works. So yeah, you guys get kicked off the boat. You row back to town, and by the time everybody's done all their business, evening has come. The sun has just started to go down. It's a lovely sky, ever darkening. and the music of the fiesta from Don Machado's estate starts to roll out over the town. And you guys put on your best duds and make your way there. And I think we're going to call this session there.
Yay!
So, I have been your GM, Will Mitchell, and joining me today has been...
Francisco Florento, played by Justin Ecock, your flashy Zorro fanboy.
Dirk Weiss.
I'm Derek the Bard from Chasing the Muse. Sorry.
Oh, no!
Don't be sorry.
Dark Weiss, played by Poisonne. I have been writing myself a folk hero song. I'm not even kidding.
Yay!
I've been Mike the Birdman Dodd from thisweekingeek.net, doing your best Assassin's Creed impersonation.
All right. And so tune in next week to find out what goes down at this fiesta. See you later, guys.
Olay!
The Terrible Warriors. They have new episodes out every Tuesday and Thursday, and the 7th Sea will return in 2 weeks' time. It's time for the fiesta! Ho ho! On Thursday, if you should return, we are also playing Kagagami High. Derek the Bard is our game master, and Kagagami High is this weird improvised game set at a Japanese school for girls. The entire game is randomly generated through a number of tables that we roll on, and that's how we've ended up with a classmate who is both a bird and a common rider named Donut Ross. The game is very weird, and it's on Thursday. Next week, alternating with the 7th Sea, we are still playing Ashes of the Empire, Poisonne's story is set in Star Wars. Our Terrible Warriors, they're henchmen working for the Empire, and they're not even trying to be the good guys in this one. And on next Thursday, alternating with Kagagami High, Derek the Bard is running that game too with his Edmonton crew. They're playing through Unknown Armies, a film by Alan Smithy. You can follow us online at Dice Warriors. You can keep up to date with all of our bonus campaigns, as well as the schedule should be teasing ahead on what games we'll be playing for you in the new year. If you're one of the supporters on Patreon, thank you so much. If you're a listener who's just shared the show or left a review or has played a game that you heard on this show, hey, thanks for that as well. Today's Terrible Warriors and your heroes fighting for true love were Justin Ecock, Poisonne, Derek Burrow, Mike the Birdman Dodd, and Game Master Will Mitchell. We'll see you next time on the Terrible Warriors.